Hey there everybody, hope you're doing well, and welcome to another time-lapse video. Today we are working on kind of a Japanese themed village here in the bamboo jungle area on Pandemia, and I'm really excited about this one because this is a pretty unique building style for me. I've never really built anything in this particular style before, and this village has a little bit of everything on top of kind of the, like I said, unique style. There's some terraforming, there's some custom tree action, some world edit. So we've got quite a variety here, and I hope you guys will enjoy watching. So I wanted to start off with kind of this little pagoda type building. This really helped me set up this style for this place, and I also knew that these roofs and just this building in general was going to be a major challenge for me. Again, having not really built anything in this particular style, I usually tend to go for a lot straighter roofs, and I've never really tried to do sort of a large curve like this, especially a subtle curve. Kind of like slighter angles and slight curves are pretty difficult to do in Minecraft, and to make them look natural on sort of a smaller scale like this was a bit of a challenge, but I think I made it look okay. And I also am really happy with this block palette. I know that this has been used before, but I thought that it would be a really good sort of contrast to the jungle color palette around it. Obviously we've got the acacia wood, I'm using quartz pillars for the white area, and I also am using a little bit of dark oak spread throughout. I actually use more dark oak later in the build. I started using a lot of acacia planks, and they look good, but in something like this where you want a lot of contrast and you really want it to pop, I just feel like that dark oak against the red acacia and then of course the white of the quartz looks just really good. And then obviously you have the orange and green together, which I'm really liking these dark prismarine blocks. I hadn't really used them before I did the church in the first village time lapse, and I'm really addicted to them now. It's going to be hard for me to not use them. So just kind of adding in a few varying size structures in here. You'll see I only really built a few unique structures, and then I kind of copied and made some changes to them because I wanted to keep the roof slope and things like that kind of consistent throughout. And I know that, again, it's kind of tough for me to build on these angles, so I wanted to just make sure that things were staying consistent. So you'll see in a moment here, I actually copy the top of the first pagoda and paste it over here to kind of create a little entranceway. And I modified it a little bit. I kind of made the bottom a little bit longer so that it sits up a bit taller. And this turned into a really great entranceway. And I built a little staircase down to sort of the jungle floor there. And I like how this village it's not sitting up on the top of the plateau. I think that if I were to extend this, I would expand it up onto the next level. But for now, I just wanted to kind of wrap it around on this little kind of outcropping here. But I think that it would look really cool if the village crept up another level on this kind of up level that you're seeing now. Maybe add another large pagoda or something. Maybe I'll come back and expand this village, but I know if you guys are looking for stuff to do, I would love to see your take on expanding this village up to the next level. I think that'd be really cool. So this building I experimented with quite a bit. I actually ended up moving in it a little bit here, and I was gonna have it be a little bit larger. You can see where that stone area was. I was planning on making this a bit bigger footprint, but I thought that this sort of square symmetrical style would be kind of cool, and it goes all the way around with the same proportions, and I just did something slightly different on each side. But I moved it out of the way because I thought that this spot would actually be perfect for another larger pagoda. So again, I took kind of the top 3 layers of the first one and then duplicated the lower level to basically just make it a little bit taller. And I also went through and changed some details so it's not the exact same thing. But I just figured, you know, I already have a pagoda that I like kind of the size of and the scale of, and I like the roofs and stuff. So rather than go and try and make something different that might not fit with the rest of the village, why not just take what's existing and duplicate it, and obviously make those subtle changes so that it is different, but it still feels cohesive. And here I'm doing some terraforming, just kind of extending this cliff a little bit to make some more room for this so it's not overhanging on the edge. And again, kind of adding that grass back and adding back in the same palette of blocks, so kind of that diorite mix, which I know the diorite is a little bit controversial, I have to say. Some people like it, some people hate it. I know one particular YouTuber has kind of made diorite sort of infamous, but I really like it, especially with shaders. I think that it just adds that really nice contrast that kind of makes the terrain around it pop out. And so again, just kind of copying that same little entranceway area. And I made a few adjustments to this one too, so it was a little bit different, and doing some more terraforming to bring those stairs down in. Kind of like, I want the stairs to sort of feel like they're cut into the rocks in a way. And I think it makes a nice natural way to kind of get up to the village, but the village is also then sort of separated from the rest of the jungle. And it feels a little bit, you know, like maybe it's a little bit protected or a little bit isolated from kind of the wildness of the jungle below it. So here I'm doing a little more terraforming and landscaping, adding in kind of some placeholders for trees. And my initial intention here was to do kind of the typical cherry blossom trees with the pink leaves. And you'll see that I decided to go with just traditional leaves, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But here I'm working out the paths. So what I like to do is lay out the path with wool as a placeholder, and then just replace that wool with a pattern that I like with World Edit. So I tried out a few different patterns, and I ended up with sort of this brick wood, this like stripped brick wood, or not brick, sorry, the stripped birch wood pattern, which again, nice contrast, different material than I had used before, but I think it makes the path stand out a little bit more. And so here I am kind of trying out some different patterns for the cherry blossom trees. And I decided not to do it because it's always kind of bugged me when people do cherry blossom trees, but you know, it's obviously like pink wool and pink concrete and stuff. And I just like the fact that leaf blocks have that extra level of texture and you can see through them, and with shaders they kind of wave and move around. So that's why I decided not to go with the cherry blossom leaf design. So here I'm just kind of adding in the rest of the little detailing, kind of adding some tall grass and some flowers. I added in a lot of purple and pink flowers to kind of bring those purple and pink colors in, and then added some bamboo back in places to kind of tie it into the bamboo jungle a little bit more, but not have the bamboo obscure the builds. So that's that, guys. I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and I think that of all the places I've built in Minecraft, this is probably one of the ones that I'd like to spend the most time in. And I hope that you guys will download the map and take some time to explore. And I'm really interested to see your take on this village and how you might expand it or change it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like this content, please consider subscribing and dropping a like. It does help me out a lot. And I hope you guys will stay tuned for the next time lapse.